technology will allow you to do many things better. But in the hand, the power of technology, how it can be molded, how it can be shaped, how it can be unleashed is in your hands. It's in your mind more than anywhere else. This is power in the hands of a few people, but it has to be responsibly deployed. It has to be done for safety, it has to be done for a better quality of life, it has to be done for better outcomes for everyone. Technology will make mistakes, technology will imagine things also sometimes, and that's where human interpretation, human guidance is important. You can use technology well and you must use technology well, but like everything else, there is a right way and a not so right way. I am not calling it even a wrong way because I don't want to pass any judgment. But there is a not so smart way of using technology.
Have you ever met a person whose works have touched industries, transformed communities, and inspired generations all at once? If not, no worries at all, because today you will. A leader whose works have connected business excellence as well as social responsibility. Yes, I am talking about Mr. Jalaj Dani. Mr. Dani is best known as a co-promoter of Asian Paints, India's largest paint companies and one of the most admired in the world. For over 2 decades, he played a key role in contributing his wisdom to the boards of HDFC and Havells. Mr. Dani also serves as the chairman of IIM Tiruchirappalli. Mr. Dani believes that success means its true meaning when it uplifts others. With his wife, Mrs. Veeta Dani, he co-founded the Dani Foundation, in which he transforms lives through education, healthcare, and the holistic community development. Ladies and gentlemen, in Mr. Dani, we see a rare blend. He is a visionary industrialist, a compassionate philanthropist, and a true nation builder. He also reminds us that leadership is not just about building companies, but it's about building people and communities. With immense pride and gratitude, let us welcome a change maker to our conclave who has inspired both boardrooms as well as classrooms, Mr. Jalaj Dani.
Absolute pleasure to have you here with us. And we've got a little bit of time where we can chat. I can ask you some questions, and then we have a very inquisitive group here. I promise you they're going to have lots of questions for you. And I want to start off with a very simple question. We're already seeing AI saving lives through its application in healthcare, helping to fight climate change. And we have a lot of students here who are aspiring to solve some of the biggest problems of our time with the use of AI. Where should they start? What is a good place to begin as students of grade 9 to 12?
Very good morning to all of you. I want to thank all the trustees for having me here. I must say, I didn't expect this kind of an institution in a place like Coimbatore. It's absolutely impressive, and I'm most jealous of the students.
Not just you. It's me, every single other person in your seat every year for 4 years. I think apart from educating them, this makes all of us wish we had this when we were growing up.
Yeah, it's I think wonderful, and I would only say make the most of it, because time like this will not come again in your life. Now coming back to what you were asking, I would say do what you enjoy and do what you are good at. I think that's more important than anything else. Technology, AI, it may be called something else day after tomorrow, is here to stay. And technology is an enabler. Technology will allow you to do many things better. But in the hand, the power of technology, how it can be molded, how it can be shaped, how it can be unleashed, is in your hands. It's in your mind more than anywhere else. And that's why, again, do what you enjoy, because if you do that, there will be some place where you'll discover you can deploy it. And if you enjoy it, you will invest more time, you'll spend more hours. Nobody will have to tell you, do more of this. You will be self-started, you'll be self-initiated, you will be excited and charged up all the time to do it on your own. So that's why that's one thing that's important. And second is, you have to be good at it. Don't come back and say, I enjoy it, so I do it. If you are enjoying it, if you are doing it, then you have to be good at it. And there are many different ways in which you can determine whether you are good at it. Doing well in an examination or test is one of them. Doing something in the lab is another. Doing something outside the classroom, outside the campus is a third way of doing it and measuring its effectiveness. But I would say those are the two things. If you really enjoy and if you are good at it, you will be able to get the maximum out of technology and do more and more of it, and hopefully do it better than anyone else in the world.
Okay? Find a way to enjoy it, then work really hard to get good at it. I like that. And through AdVerb, you're driving robotics and automation. And for students, I think that's incredibly exciting. So can you give them real-world examples of how robotics and AI are already changing factories in India right now? How is it changing the workplace?
Yeah, so what you saw was one product. This is, I think all of you watch cricket and IPL. You would have seen this in the field of play this time. It's a similar product. It's not our product, but what you would call a quadruped or a dog. This is something we have been able to develop it in-house. This is a startup. AdVerb Technologies is a startup, and as you saw, the logo says human robot possibilities. That's what we do. We are all here, and what your theme is all about as far as this conference is concerned. So it's how humans and robots can create tremendous opportunities, possibilities. That's what we believe in. The company that started 7 years ago, as I said, it's a company that now sells more than 40% of its products and services outside of India. It's a company that has developed all this technology and products in-house right here outside of Delhi in Noida and Greater Noida. So it's possible to dream, it's possible to put these things together. And what you saw here is a product that can be used for security, for surveillance, for movement of material. What you would call a mule, that's what this is. We are able to do things at scale. We are able to do things right first time. We are able to do things safely. Imagine a world where you had a 20, 30 story structure which was all warehouse material lying, and you had to go up and down to get it, and you had to do it fast. You would not be able to do it at that height, which is the scale and the area where you have to do. You can't do it fast, so which is right first time, so you will end up making lots of mistakes, and you can't do it safely. With the deployment of technology, you are able to do all these three things. But at the back, there are human beings who are dreaming, who are visualizing these applications, who are bringing various technologies, both software and hardware together, various components, various equipments, and ensuring that they talk to each other. Doing it in a safe way. Any of these applications can go rogue and create challenges. And that's why, again, anything you do in technology has to be balanced with what we have heard ma'am talk and what you practice every day on the campus here, values. In the end, this is power in the hands of a few people, but it has to be responsibly deployed. It has to be done for safety, it has to be done for a better quality of life, it has to be done for better outcomes for everyone. But it can become abusive, it can become difficult to rein in, and that's always been a challenge with technology. But the civilization over centuries has dealt with it, I must say, very responsibly. And that's the onus on all of you as young people to balance, if there is efficiency on one side, with values, with responsible behavior on the other side, impact, taking it to the social sector. Applications like this, we have another venture which is in drones, and there is very little difference as far as technology is concerned between a robot. I was greeted by one of them as I walked in. We make many of such similar equipment. So robots move on the ground, whereas drones go up in the sky. So the navigation systems are slightly different, but outside of that, most of the technology and parts are overlapping.
I also know for a fact that, sir, you're deeply invested in sports development in the country. And you even mentioned a quad report that we all saw during the IPL. But how far away are we from maybe seeing a robot umpire a cricket match, or being involved in maybe training and maybe not Virat, but telling somebody else, maybe try this strategy differently. You've tried this in 6 other games. The outcome has never been good. Try it differently this time. How far away are we from a reality like that?
Actually, we are living that today.
We're living it today, okay?
But it can always get better and better with usage, with the speed and the computing power and rest of the technologies that are available to all of us. So just to give you 2 examples, my son plays table tennis for India, and that's one of the reasons it drew us into sports and how to create more champions from grassroots up. And that's where I must thank SSVM also. They've been wonderful partners with us as far as football is concerned. There is a football franchise, Chennai, under ISL. And the team has been working closely with SSVM now for more than 6 years. He trains with a robot. My son trains with a robot on the other side of the table.
Wow, robotic sparring partners.
So how the ball spins, at what angle it will come, what speed it will come, and it doesn't get tired.
Can it maybe mimic an opponent he's about to take on next week?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was just going to come to that. We are working and designing lots of technology. So we do a lot of work with almost 600 residential athletes across many Olympic sports as India prepares for 2036 Olympic bid. And Prakash sir is from badminton is coming here in the next 2 days, I saw also. And we work very closely with all of them. And what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? A computer will help you to understand it much better. You still need a coach. You need a mentor to help you interpret all of it.
Of course.
But you can use data to take better decisions and get more powerful insights. And then the same way you can study your opponent. You can study your opponent in different playing conditions. Somewhere where the air is thin, because the size of the room is different. The altitude where the stadium is different. The humidity is different. The temperature is different. How has that player done in other parts of the world in those conditions versus many different opponents? All this was a skill in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Talent was always there as far as sports is concerned. But now you have these tools. They are able to bring in data from multiple sources and distill it and give it to you in a ready-to-eat form. And that makes more sense. There is a concept of hallucination. Technology will make mistakes. Technology will imagine things also sometimes. And that's where human interpretation, human guidance is important. But having a coach who has understood how to use data, having a coach who knows what skill is, what talent is, but at the same time bringing in these data points can make a huge difference as far as preparing an athlete is concerned.
So, sir, can I get you to maybe address the teachers in the audience? How can teaching evolve today? How can they embrace AI? Because students no longer go to libraries. They're not even Googling for an assignment anymore. They're using Gen AI to do all of their research. So how can teachers embrace AI and continue to inculcate curiosity in students in the age of AI?
So first of all, they are teachers, and one of them was even a teacher to one of my children in school in Bombay. So I think teachers have to be spoken to with a mark of respect. So I'm not here from the stage with a mic preaching any of you, but I can only say what I do, because where I sit and where I operate, I also have the same concern, I have the same fear. There are people working around me who are deploying technology, who have many more answers on products, solutions that we are developing. They are smarter than me, they are younger than me, they are faster than me. So one is, of course, to invest time in staying abreast with what's happening in the world. It's extremely important to stay updated. That's again going back to what I said, curious for the students. I think we need to know what's happening out there. Other is, I think technology makes life much more easy in many parts. And that means you have a lot of free time. So figuring it out how technology can work for you, work with you, so you have more time to think, more time to reflect. I think these are two words you tell your children all the time, think and reflect. And I think we all need to do that too on a regular basis and ask ourselves that question of where the world is going, in that the subjects we are teaching, how they are going to see a big change, and how we can connect those dots and help our students see the world better and prepare them for the new world, because I'm sure that's what all of you attempt to do. It's just that the world is changing very fast. And the last is, of course, values endure, as they say. So some things don't change. So how to reinforce those values, how to have that as the foundation for the students is also our responsibilities as leaders. We are business leaders, you are academic leaders, but we have to stay true to our values. Lots of deviations will happen because of external environment, because of temptation. We have to bring them back, which I said earlier, exercise judgment.
So I love the fact that you emphasized on, staying rooted in our values that will guide our judgment, which is very much needed with regard to AI. And you also encourage them to continue to be more inquisitive and explore. So we have some very, very inquisitive grade 9 and grade 10 students. And if this is their introduction to AI, what would you suggest they explore? Can you give them a direction or two that you think would be exciting, age appropriate for them to dive into the world of AI?
I think you can use technology well, and you must use technology well. But like everything else, there is a right way and a not so right way. I am not calling it even a wrong way, because I don't want to pass any judgment. But there is a not so smart way of using technology. And there are people around you, maybe your siblings, maybe your parents, maybe your teachers, other friends, who you again trust. Because trust is something which is the backbone of everything that is in the digital world. So talk to them, understand from them, and see what is useful, what's good to know. You'll stumble into the whole world out there where you'll discover a few more things. If you are comfortable and you think it's helping, it's fine. Otherwise, again, ask people whether this is making sense, whether this is where you should be. Because there are lots of things out there, and you have to tread it carefully, but you must go and play in that world out there. There's a lot that is happening. Outside of that, I am too ignorant to really tell you about anything else.
Well, we appreciate the experience and the wisdom, and thank you for sharing that. We're going to open the floor to questions.
Yes, sir, I'm Judith. And my question is, now companies in today's world have become more and more efficient with AI, but we as young people, we value human connection. So how do you think we can keep that alive in the workplace?
When we grew up, there was a landline phone, and if we had to call somebody in another city or in another country, we had to book a call.
Sorry, did you say book a call?
Yeah.
Who are you booking this call with?
So we had to make a request to the telephone exchange, and then they would prioritize it, and there was something called a lightning call also, where you paid much more, and hopefully you connected with the person on the other side within few hours. Same way we had a fax system, which was you would put a paper and it would be digitized and transmitted on the other side and printed out. When I started going to college is when emails were introduced, but phones came in 1995 as far as India is concerned. And what you guys now call them dumb phones is all we had at that time, and then the so-called smartphones came in. So I think technology has evolved over a period of time, and it is helping things do better. But it's for us to figure out what to do with our free time. Do we put our phone down, screen facing down, when we talk to somebody? When we go to a meeting, do we switch off our ringer? When we are at the dinner table, do family members talk to each other? When you are in the car going from a place A to place B, are you listening to music? Are you talking to each other? Maybe even sharing a video, but something that everybody in the car is doing together. Same thing happens at a workplace. There is a huge human need to connect with another human being. There is a huge need to be appreciated and applauded, to feel valued. Emotions is all that we are. We have the cerebral side, we do things for a living, but passion is equally important. So all these things can't be replicated any other way. My son can relate to somebody who comes from a very different economic and a social background as a table tennis player, and he is a brand ambassador for Rolex, so he can go and talk to the CEO of Rolex, which is at a very different level. But that's what sports has taught him. And I think whatever you do, you have that human need to connect with people, because in the end, we only talk to people through that language which other person understands. So technology helps you to get better. It frees up your time, but going for a walk, reading a book, maybe you can read it digitally, but watching a movie, whatever it is, and doing it with your friends, there's no substitute to that. There is what this concept that we are trying to popularize. It's called physical literacy. So even the national education policy and all talks of numeracy, reading, writing, all this. We are saying it's important for kids to play for 1 hour every day in school. We call that physical literacy, because that's when you interact with another human being. You take the losses with the wins. You become a team player. You sacrifice for your teammates. All these human qualities and needs that are there. That doesn't go away. In companies, we have what you call an HR department, which is the human resource department that recruits people, pays people. They have a very important responsibility. It's called engagement. How engaged the employee is, how engaged that person is to their boss, to their super boss, to the rest of the organization. That's so important, and that's human connection. That doesn't come by sending a mail from one terminal to another, from one phone to another. Social apps on digital will be there, but that will help you to connect to people better. Today I can connect to so many more, but in the end, it's about making that connection and making somebody feel special and feeling special yourself.
Thank you, sir. In the spirit of connection, we have a few more students we'd like to connect with for questions. And I think we're a little short on time, so we're going to do 2 more questions. Over to you, young man.
So I am Kriti. How do you evaluate whether a new technology is solving human problems or just chasing hype?
How do you evaluate if a
So,
technology is solving problems or just hype or maybe creating problems? How do you
so
evaluate?
it's difficult to know, to be very honest. We struggle with this every day. If you had called me 6 months from now, we hope to launch a humanoid in the same company. Uh, it's expensive to develop these technologies, and one is never sure whether we'll be able to develop it also. We may not have all the skills, we may not have all the knowledge in the organization. But it's a leap of faith. We believe we have most of the building blocks and we can put it together better than somebody else and hopefully make a product that is better than anybody else. Because that's the only reason somebody else, a customer out there, will buy your product. Otherwise, if it's not as good, you as a customer will go to somebody else. On your phone also, there are so many apps you have. Some you go to and some you don't because you think the user experience is not good or the content is not rich enough or whatever. So there is no easy answer to these things. You are professionally trained, you are qualified, you have lots of people around you in the ecosystem who are giving you inputs on what will work, what will not work in terms of putting it together, and then more importantly, to commercially make it a success. You will hear this phrase many times that this product came too early. It came before its time was due. And many technologies are available in a lab, in an industrial outfit, in somebody's mind. But to translate that takes extraordinary efforts. The whole ecosystem to produce a product like that or an experience like that. So it's a little bit of give and take. It's risky. And that's why the returns are also very high.
Okay, high risk, high reward. That is our takeaway from that. And
So, sir, do you think that AI can be used for ethical thinking? For example, to evaluate a crime?
I think you have better experts than me in the next 3 days, including I think some in the front row who can help you with this. But I'll tell you my personal view, and I may be wrong, and that's where you exercise your judgment to believe what I'm saying. I think AI can help you to put together a lot of information. Whatever ethical, moral dilemmas that you have, some of this has been seen in other parts of the world, in other spheres of life. If you can get all that with you, you can make a much more well-informed decision. And again, it's about values, it's about judgment. So you'll make a more well-informed decision. In the end, your own principles will determine whether you made the right decision consistent with your value system. Because in the end, I always say that, and you are too young, so you probably fall asleep every night exhausted from using your phone, but some of us are not like that. I hope you are allowed the phone. The way you are nodding your head, I'm not sure. But all of us say that when we put our head on the pillow in the night, we should get a good night's sleep. So none of those ethical compromises. So it's important to get all that information through technology. But in the end, there is no substitute to intuition, gut feeling, confidence, judgment.
Okay, interesting. I don't think we've figured out how to code for intuition, gut feeling, ethics, and forget things being black and white, the entire spectrum of gray. Sir, thank you so very much. This has been absolutely incredible and insightful, and I really wish we had more time. We have a ton of questions. Thank you.